Hello, hi there, welcome all. For some reason, the earlier the recording, my voice became very low when I uploaded onto YouTube, but on my computer it originally looks okay. So I want to make sure that you can hear my presentation. But the other things like amplifying could help you. But I have recorded a one more video so that you have a very clear audio on that. And my sincere apologies for that one. So I'm using the tools such as online generals and simulation games, part of the Authentic Learning project. And I want to apply this one for inclusive curriculum development, which is on its own is a unique project. And I want to give you a little bit background here, the type of process we have used and what sort of program we have come up, and in the end, in the middle somewhere, I'll talk about the technologies and some of the challenges and how I'm going to implement this particular program. And the context is here is that universities, as you know, from worldwide, they're becoming rapidly global, and constantly it's seeking a collaboration between students from different countries, different cultures. Once they are being placed into a rumble, and you want them to work together, and because of their unique culture that we have. This needs to be communicated to everyone, and that's a way to find a common ground. But we want to develop this multicultural program in a way that it involves the domestic students, so that they can also learn as an exchange from international students. So that's the context here. It's a sort of a orientation program. It's not mandatory, but it could be something where you can promote it as a voluntary. People can get involved and try to learn the local culture, so that the transition in its own is very easy for the international students. And we want domestic students to help them as well. The scope of work, the project itself, we identified it as a MATE project, that is Mastering the Australian Transition Experience. The group we had are all international students, including domestic students. So we want to encourage that interaction, how we felt in our groups. We want to give the same experience as this particular program. We want to develop the capacities of thinking critically, more creatively, initialize a curriculum between Western and Eastern approaches. That's a major entities when you look at it. Between different countries, you got a sort of a traditional approach or a modern approach, but we want to encourage part of this program to be more creative and critical with this development, and also develop social support networks. I found myself as an international student, a lot of the time, finding that what exists for me, is something on my own I have explored. But the programs like these should help the international students, in engaging what is the support the Australian government or Australian university can provide. And we want to equip the students with these tools to navigate Australian university life. We want to have a very happy, fun, enjoying life. They want to make mates, they want to make friends during this course, and work together in the projects, work together in solving problems, and so on. The process for the curriculum, I don't want to go deep into this. This is what we applied using design thinking strategy, where you have a broad tunnel, where you have a quite range of ideas, and start to brainstorm those ideas, and filter those ideas, and based on that ideas, in this particular project we have developed some themes and try to experiment those themes and develop a program which is suitable for the contest, which is suitable for the learning. And we combine this strategy with the project management, where you have a clear input and output for each phase of this development. And you can see the interfaces that we use. We have used the online ICT tools to make this curriculum happen. So this is a real good example of how we can apply, how we can apply LMS discussion boards, Google Docs, Padlet, Canvas, for example. Some of these I have actually complemented the development and allowed us to do some good research and find a good evidence for what we are trying to develop. This is the program that we have in mind. It's a sort of a 8 to 10 weeks program, but it will have a different themes. That curriculum development process has evolved to develop these themes, so that you can section them. You can have your sessions, or you can have a weeks planning for one for a language. Understand what is a unique Australian language, slangs and stuff like that. Then what are the cultural differences? What are the common social norms? The very simple things. Then housing, transport, and work sort of, part-time work, how they have to prepare resumes, even including, that sort of stuff for casual jobs. What is a sort of a tenancy legislation, rental agreements, in terms of work rights, for example. Physical and mental health, what happens in case you get bit anxious, you need support, you're being nostalgic, you're being homesick, simple basic appointments with GP, for example. Then cultural diversity and experiencing Australian culture. Again, this is an opportunity to know the locals, to know the First Nations. Even I find even domestic students, they don't have sometimes much knowledge about what is the far-reaching idea of First Nations or Aboriginals. What they eat, what they drink, how they have been living for the last 50,000 years, 60,000 years. This sort of thing they don't really understand. The geography of Australia is unique, and we want them to experience with the local people. Food and social life, bring everything onto a table, exchange in a way that what is a local unique food. For example, this could be meat pies or sausages, the Bunnings sausages, for example. These things they need to know, they need to have an experience of this, and people need to talk about it. And this particular program will have a in-class sort of a presentation. Then they'll have some social events towards that one, and how they engage online as well. And that's the plan. The authentic learning, some of the stuff I have done and that I want to apply through the curriculum development program. And the objective here is to change the perceptions, not to really change the identity, but not to, a lot of the time as international students, I try to change my actions and see the results. That's a sort of experimentation I have been doing as an ad hoc, and it's a similar experience for others of my mates, in my group or my buddies, but the true change will come with the change in perception. What is the unique Australian culture? Have they really known it? We want them to experience in their 18 months, 12 months program, to learn that aspect and change that, and bring something unique on their own. When they go back home, they want to see a change. They don't want to be a same person when they came into Australia, because international students do a lot of planning. They put a lot of finance into it. The parent support. All these come into a picture. But what they want to see there in their sons or daughters is, in their partners is a change. And these sort of programs should have that in the background. And I'm hoping that the tools such as online generals and simulation games, for example, in a unique way will allow will actually allow the allow the experiences to our perceptions to change, in a way to reflect what happened in the classroom, in a way to reflect what happens when speaking to a buddy, and simulate that, have a role play for a unique project, and come into a project and offer what they can do and learn from what the domestic students offer, how they actually solve the problem, what sort of culture they bring into, what sort of language they bring into it. This could be virtually simulated, and that's the plan. But a lot of the time we put in a curriculum, but my observation as an experienced teacher is that there is a lot with the hidden curriculum. I think once we have a structured program, once we have a supporting tools, and once we have a coordinator who engages the students, then the hidden curriculum, whatever is behind, there's a lot behind. Not only just an 8-week program can come up, can encourage discussions around, and move away from the traditional settings. The challenge is always to promote the 10 elements of authentic learning. It's not an easy job, even though I combine. I know the advantages of these each tools. There is a limitation on each of these tools, but I want to combine and take advantage of these. So online and generals, in a sense, they provide authentic tasks, but also have a very good way of reflecting, articulating, at the same time, provide the assessment. We don't have any summative or a formal assessment. What we're trying to do is to tell the stories, to expand their episodes of their program. So simulation, for example, has a much more advantage on, giving multiple roles, perspectives, coaching and scaffolding, to learn, to correct the way they think, and so on. So some of these, as it's clear from the table here, that it can cover, it can basically cover all the 10 elements, from starting from providing authentic tasks to different roles, to articulation, then coaching, scaffolding through the process, and also some of the authentic assessment, although it is not a formal assessment, but it is a way to check their understanding. The plan is to develop a website, which the website will be, I'm starting to build a code, basically allowing the program to have a structure, to have a week by week sessions, then at the same time links to basically go there and do a general writing, and as well as simulation games, which is still under construction. That's a very simple a link on that. I'm working on it, and I want to acknowledge in the end my mates who have allowed me to take this program and go further with its implementation. A lot of the time as an educator we spend in designing the curriculum, but the same guys, if they start to implement, they will see the challenges. They will see the challenges with these ICT technologies. It's all about the experiences with its implementation. There's a lot of frustration with any program development. There's a fear that is successful or not. And I want to check that one. And I'm really glad for this opportunity. And I also want to thank Natasha and Peter. And if you got any questions, please try to put it on the bottom, and my sincere apologies for the earlier mess up. Thank you.